the Americans killed 150 innocent schoolgirls in Iran, haven't apologized for it, tried to blame Iran for it. What's going on, folks? Go Sheep back at it again. Just got in from work, so I thought, let's jump online, let's see what's cracking, let's see what's going on. Today, with Keir replying to your comments on Iran. Let's not forget that this war is illegal. Let's not forget that the Americans are acting on the behest of the Israelis. Let's not forget this is all part of a greater plan, the Greater Israel Plan. 40 years in the making. That's 40. Wait, 40? 40? You get the idea. That's 40 years in the making. Benjamin Netanyahu. Let no more be said on that. Actually, let more be said on that. We'll keep talking about that. We'll keep reiterating that as time goes on. It just needs to be established. It just needs to be clarified that this war is illegal. There is no reason for this to be occurring. I'm not the biggest fan of Keir Starmer. I'll be honest. I'll be transparent. I used to vote Labour. I used to be a Labour guy. Jeremy Corbyn was the guy. This guy, I don't really like this guy. I'll be real. Something about him just aggs me. So let me just look at him. It just pisses me off, really. But I will say he's done the right thing by not getting involved. Let's just hear what he has to say.
No, the UK is not going to war with Iran.
Strong start.
I've got a lot of questions.
Hold on. Before this all skips past, are we actually going to a war? Regulate the oil prices? Last he said bills. Okay, so a lot of things about bills, energy bills, war, prices about stuff. So
from a lot of you, which is a good thing. So here are my answers.
Hold up. Before we begin, let's just be clear that he may have received a lot of questions, but he chose which ones he wanted to answer for this segment.
At the beginning of this conflict, I made it really clear that we wouldn't join the offensive strikes that the US and Israel were carrying out on Iran. We got about 300,000 British nationals in the Gulf region, and it's important that we protect them and our Gulf allies. So we have got the RAF in particular flying aeroplanes across the region. They're actually intercepting strikes to stop them hitting people and buildings. So that's defensive action. But we're not joining the war. We are allowing the US to use our bases, but again for defensive, collective self-defense to take out basically the ability of Iran to put missiles into the air that are going or may go to attack our Gulf allies and our people in the Gulf. So not going to war, simply taking necessary defensive action to protect British lives and British interests. Whether it's conflict in the region, whether it's the impact on oil and gas, or just the worry that most people have about how's this going to impact me in my home, the best way to reduce the impact is to de-escalate, to get to the end of hostilities and then get to a negotiated settlement. And we're speaking to all of our allies to try and make sure that that happens as quickly as possible. The Straits of...
All right, so I'm not mad at that answer, to be honest with you. I'm not disappointed in that answer. It seems fair, you know what, at the end of the day, what they're doing is defensive posturing more than anything else. Not actually engaging in any kind of attacks. Not like we're seeing from the Israelis, not like we're seeing from America. So in that respect, obviously, yeah, I can't be mad at it. He's not getting directly involved. Rather, he is just making sure that our interests are maintained over there and protecting who we can, which fundamentally... You know, I can't be upset at that kind of approach. It would be nice, though, if he expressed in this answer that the war was illegal, is illegal, I should say. As an answer, I can't be mad at it. Fair enough, Keir. I don't like you, mate, but, I can respect that. What is the Strait of Hormuz? Oh, come on, man. You got ChatGPT, man. Ask Chat. Chat will tell you straight up.
The Strait of Hormuz is a really important shipping lane. It's basically how the Gulf states access, the rest of the world. And a lot of oil and gas comes through the Straits. Iran is stopping shipping getting through the Straits. That is having an impact on oil and gas prices. We need to get the Straits back open as quickly as possible. We've been talking, particularly in recent days, to our allies about this, the US, European partners, to Gulf states. I'm not going to pretend it's easy to do this, but it is really important that we do it because whilst the Straits are not in full operation, the price of oil and gas goes up, and I know that then affects everybody at home. Although I do just want to say this to reassure people. In the United Kingdom, for households, we cut energy bills about £117 averagely for households. And we are going to cap that. We are capping that to the end of June. So I know people are worried, but just on household energy bills, be assured that in 3 weeks' time, they're actually going to be cut and then capped for 3 months. In the meantime, we will do everything we can to de-escalate the situation in the Gulf, because that is the best way to deal with the impact on the cost of living.
Okay, so not a bad answer. A pretty good answer, actually. You know what? Let me give him some credit. Talking things through and reaching some kind of agreement, de-escalation is going to be vital. We definitely need that. We can't afford for this to descend into outright war and chaos. I know it's a war right now, but it could get a whole lot worse. So I think it's really, really important that we really try and rectify it. And I say we. I don't know why I'm saying we. Obviously, Donald Trump fucked us up with all of this. But from a British standpoint, I think, having the opportunity to really have some kind of discussion, some kind of discourse is gonna be vital. As for the plan itself, from what it sounds like, and I hope he talks a bit more about this, £117, I believe he said. I guess we have to see how high the bills get in due course, but maybe that will be beneficial. Maybe it will soften the blow. I guess, again, we'll have to see on that. Even if the strait gets opened up tomorrow, the ramifications are going to be long-standing. So I would love to know kind of like how long, maybe he said it and maybe I just completely zoned out, how long they are going to be given some kind of cuts for. Is it going to be 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, whatever? Because, this thing could last for a while, but maybe he'll talk more about it. Maybe I just completely just zoned out. So that could be my bad there. Let me not get too off track. Let's go through the video.
Got a number of military bases in the Middle East. They've been targeted by Iran. So in order to protect them, we had already pre-deployed anti-drone capability, radar capability. We already had our planes there, RAF pilots. We put more of those in.
I just need to pause and say, whoever's doing these random shots, let me just get underneath your chin here, buddy. Ooh, by the side, you look great. Keep talking. I'm loving it, man. It's really adding a certain je ne sais quoi to the proceedings. Just in general, this format is great. Like, I'm not a big fan of this guy. I refuse to be a fan of this guy because I don't feel his aura. I don't feel his energy.
Nope.
But in terms of presentation right now, and as a leader sitting down to talk and answer questions, even though the questions are clearly pre-selected, cool. I'm not mad.
Into the region. And from about an hour or two after the conflict started, they've been working 24/7 in the skies, taking out the incoming strikes from Iran, which is protecting our bases and our people in those bases.
I think it's very important to be protecting our people. I have to say, though, I think if we're letting the Americans use the bases, then that naturally makes us targets.
Whatever's going on in the world, for most...
Short answer, and this is going to be yes, 100%. Come on, like, we see, I don't think he needed to really waste a question slot for this. Like, yes, it's gonna affect pretty much everything. Come on.
People, the issue they're most concerned about is the cost of living. Can I make ends meet?
I am very concerned about it as well, though.
Are my bills going to go up? And there's a real sense of worry about that. Now, I get that because when I was growing up, we didn't have enough money to pay our bills. And therefore, we literally had to sit around our kitchen table discussing how we would cope. So I know what that anxiety feels like. It's sort of knot in the stomach when you know you can't pay the bills. That's why this government has said that dealing with the cost of living is the number one priority.
Can't be mad at that answer, man. Again, threw in a little bit of the old human side there, Look at me, guys. I came from humble beginnings, therefore I know what it's like. Yeah, I ain't mad at it. It's just the reality of it right now. Life is hard. People are trying their best. And just this oncoming onslaught of prices being raised here, there, everywhere. Yeah, it can be a lot. So fair enough to him addressing it. Let's see what he's talking about with the £117 scheme.
Decided at the last budget to take money off energy bills. On average, for households, about £117. It'll vary a bit, but that's the average. Now, in 3 weeks' time, that decision goes into action, and therefore energy bills will come down, household energy bills, and then we will cap them for 3 months to the end of June.
Okay.
Whatever happens in the conflict, that will be the situation. I know that some people, particularly in rural communities and in Northern Ireland, use oil for their heating. And that's why today I've announced support for those that are using oil, because their prices will have gone up. I'm also saying, by the way, too many stories of deliveries being cancelled and then prices going up when the new appointment is made. We've got to stop any sense of people being ripped off. But we are putting that support in. And we'll look at what else we can do. Fuel duty for those that are driving is frozen through till September. In an uncertain world, those are certainties. Those are some of the things we're doing in relation to the cost of living.
Fair enough. Well, I guess Keir, I think that's what he's called, isn't it? Keir. I can't be mad at the answers that he provided there. I like the format. Granted, the questions were pre-selected, therefore, he knew what he was going to be saying basically, but his answers were pretty clear. I think we are definitely in uncertain times right now, so it does make a lot of sense to have a plan, and I guess it's just whether or not the plan will hold true. I guess we'll see depending on what unfolds. Jeffrey Epstein, Holy War. What a time to be alive. Thanks, Trump.
This guy sucks. I don't like this.